What is up YouTube, we're underleveled. My name is Taka and today I'm going to show you a really fast and easy way to get monster parts and monster materials for melding talismans or forging armors and weapons, and it's extremely easy. I mean, you're not even going to have to fight the monsters yourself. It really is that easy. So let's get to it, shall we? This is a super low risk, high reward method that'll get you about 9 monster parts every about 4 to 6 minutes. Now, a lot of these parts are worth 50 points towards melding, so you could possibly get 3 talismans in one 6-minute run. That's crazy. Now, I know that there are other potentially faster methods of farming melding material out there, but I personally feel like this by far is the easiest method because most of the time I'm not even taking damage because I'm not actually fighting the monsters myself. Okay, so the way that this is going to work is that we're going to use the new wire bug mechanic and we're going to wyvern ride the 3 monsters that are found in expeditions to make them attack each other and drop monster parts. It's so much easier. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love hunting monsters, but when it comes to farming materials, it's just so much easier to do this than hunting them yourself. Now, if you're using this method to farm materials to forge armors or weapons, then you should make sure that your monster can actually potentially drop the materials by using this method. And the way that you can check that is by heading over to your hunter's notes, large monsters, and say you want the parts from a Diablos. Well, you'll go over to materials tab, and you'll look under dropped materials. If that material can be dropped under drop materials, then you're in luck. You can use this method. If you're using this to farm for melding materials, then you probably know that not all materials are worth the same melding points, some worth more than others. Well, I'll show you the 3 monsters to look out for when farming for melding materials in just a bit. Just stick with me a little longer, we're getting there. So if you're after a certain monster, then quest is probably the best option. But if you're looking for melding materials, expedition is definitely the way to go, and I'll show you why. If you plan to use this method for melding materials, then this part is for you because there are 3 monsters that easily drop materials worth 50 melding points each. And what's even crazier is that they all show up in the same expedition, and on top of that, they all typically spawn in the same area, which makes it incredibly easy that they're already fighting each other. Now, if that seems too good to be true, it's because it kind of is. It's pretty rare for all those things to line up, but it does happen, and I've had it a few times. It's absolutely amazing for farming melding materials. You want to keep an eye out for Diablos because his carapace has a 50% chance of dropping and his Ridge Plus has a 35% chance of dropping. Both of these are worth 50 melding points each. You also want to keep an eye out for Rajang because his Black Fur has 58% chance of dropping and his Fang Plus has 30% chance of dropping. Now, both of these materials are worth 50 melding points each. Last but not least is Tigrex, or is it Tigrex? I say Tigrex because I think of it like if Tigger and a T-Rex were to have a baby. I don't know. All the Winnie the Pooh fans out there are probably terrified right now. His carapace has a 30% drop rate, and his Scale Plus has a 50% drop rate. Both of these materials are worth 45 melding points each. Now, his Claw Plus has a 20% drop rate, but it's worth 50 melding points each. Now, if you get extremely lucky, then you might get all 3 of those monsters in the Sandy Plains Expedition. But if you don't see any monsters that you really like, you can always do the quick quest to re-roll them. And if you don't know what the quick quest is or how to do it, I'll have a link up above here somewhere with how to do the quick quest. But that'll rotate out these 3 monsters. Now, you can eat if you want to. You can go for something like Dongo Rider, but for me personally, I don't eat just to save time in between runs, and as long as I'm not careless, I never really run into problems. Alright, so now we're going to choose our expedition. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So let's see which one we should do. Actually, this one looks pretty good, has Diablos in it. I think we'll do this one. Alright, so as soon as you load in, you're going to want to take a look at your map, see where all the monsters are, see which one you want to lure to the rest, and it looks like I want to bring Baroth to the rest of them. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to use a Stink Mink. Now, Stink Minks are used to put a scent on you, and it makes the monsters chase you. So the way you can find a Stink Mink is by opening your map, pressing X, going to Stink Mink, and it'll show you the locations. And it looks like there's one right by the subcamp right next to Baroth. So we're going to head over there. I love Stink Minks. They're so adorable, and I like to think that in the Monster Hunter world, they use stink minks as a base for like luxury high-end perfumes and colognes. I can see the commercial for like Aqua de Stink by Giorgio Armani. Okay, anyway, we're gonna grab this stink mink and we're gonna hop on our palamute just so that we're a little faster, they don't catch us. So we're gonna press Y to use our stink mink, and then we're gonna try to go towards the monster's head until you see like a little puff of cloud, and you'll see a foot icon in the top right corner. So now that we have his attention, we're gonna bring Baroth to Diablos. Now, you want to use the stink mink on the monster that's the furthest away, just because stink minks, they last a really long time, and it's a lot better than riding a monster across the entire map, which wouldn't be a good thing. So we're going to bring Baroth towards Diablos, even though Anjanath all of a sudden decides to go right where we were, but we're here, so we'll head towards Diablos. Alright, and he's coming here too. Saves us time, because Baroth is pretty darn slow. So once they lock eyes, they should start to fight, and then you're going to mount whichever one's mountable first. It actually looks like Baroth might be the first. Alright, so we're going to mount Baroth after this turf war. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and mount Baroth. And we're going to attack Diablos. Now, each monster has a chance to drop as much as 3 materials. So hit that monster a fair amount of times. And once he's dropped those 3 materials, then you can go ahead and ram him. So the way that that works is I like to attack, and as soon as I hit them, I press Y, and that's going to ram the monster into the other monster. Now, we're going to hop on Diablos, and now we're going to head to Anjanath. So we're not going to attack Baroth with Diablos. We're going to head towards Anjanath. And the reason why I like to attack before I ram is because sometimes when you ram, you might miss and hit a wall. But when you attack towards the monster. So it helps aim a little better. It helps give you a better chance of ramming it instead of accidentally ramming something else. Alright, so we're going to start attacking Anjanath. Get a couple of good hits on him so he drops his materials. Alright, we're going to attack once more, and again, as soon as we attack, we're going to press Y, and that's going to ram him. And then we're going to go ahead and hop on Anjanath. And then we're going to take Anjanath and we're going to head back towards Baroth. Alright, so here's Baroth. Now we're going to attack with Anjanath. Now you want to be careful, especially in the sandy plains. Around those pillars in the sand is kind of like quicksand, and if you're riding a monster, you can actually fall and get stuck in it, and it'll kick you off the monster instantly. So be careful around those stone pillars in this area. So we're going to finish it off. And that's it. We're going to collect our material next, and we're going to head out of the expedition. Where's the materials? There we go. We can hop on our palamute if we want. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and collect our materials that we got. Alright, so we're going to gather the rest of these Anjanath materials. And that's it. We just go to complete quest. And it's as easy as that. Just rinse and repeat. So most of the time, you'll get 9 materials, 3 materials from each monster, but there were some times when I got less. It doesn't happen very often. It's actually very rare for that to happen. Most of the time I do get 9, but it is something to keep in mind. So when it comes to farming melding materials, like I said, there are probably other faster methods of doing this, but I personally think that this is the easiest way and it has the least amount of risk involved. This is a really easy and painless farming method, and it allows me to meld a lot of talismans. I might actually make a video on what I get out of these melds. It might be entertaining because I have the worst luck in the world, so it might be funny to watch me cry and get frustrated when I get absolutely nothing. So I hope this video helped, and I hope you found it informative. If you enjoyed this, then don't forget to hit that like button, as well as subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications, because we have a lot more Monster Hunter Rise content coming. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.